Have you ever noticed how sometimes it's not the obvious things that make a man lose his mind over a woman? It's not just the way she looks or what she says. It's the small, almost invisible things she does that quietly ignite his desire and keep him coming back for more. Today, I'm going to reveal 5 hidden ways women trigger a man's lust without even realizing it. Confidence without the performance is one of the most misunderstood yet powerful things a woman can embody, especially when it comes to triggering a man's deep instinctual desire. Most people confuse confidence with loudness, attention-seeking, or dominance. But real confidence is often quiet. It doesn't announce itself, it radiates. It's the energy a woman carries when she walks into a room, not trying to impress anyone, not trying to be seen, but still commanding attention. Not because she's forcing it, but because she's fully present in herself. When a woman is truly confident, she isn't waiting for external validation. She's not scanning the room for approval. She's not adjusting her personality based on who's around her. She doesn't need to be the center of attention to feel worthy. She's not dressing for the male gaze or saying things just to get a reaction. Her sense of self is internal, rooted, calm, and this calmness is magnetic. It doesn't beg, it draws. It makes a man want to earn her attention rather than feeling like he's being lured into giving it. This kind of confidence shows up in the small things. It's the way she holds eye contact. Not aggressively, not flirtatiously, just long enough to say, "I see you and I'm not afraid to be seen." It's in how she pauses before speaking, like she's not rushing to fill silence because she's comfortable in it. It's in her posture, how she carries herself without slouching or shrinking, not needing to make herself small or big, but simply occupying space like she belongs there. She's not performing, not exaggerating, not trying to manipulate perception. And paradoxically, that's what makes her so captivating. Men are wired to respond to value, and confidence signals value without a word. When a woman walks in and she's grounded, emotionally steady, and not scanning for someone to validate her presence, a man's subconscious reads that as, "She doesn't need me," which means I have to earn her. That flicks something in his instincts. The same way scarcity triggers desire, so does certainty. When a woman is certain of herself, it creates tension in the best possible way. A man doesn't just want to be around her. He starts wondering what it would take to be chosen by her. The truth is, confidence without performance is deeply erotic to a man. Not because she's trying to be sexy, but because she isn't. Her allure doesn't come from overt signals, it comes from the fact that she's enough on her own. It's effortless power. And what makes it even more attractive is that it's rare. Most people are chasing attention, but when a woman doesn't chase, and instead stands still and lets the world come to her, it sends a very clear message. She knows her worth, and that message cuts through the noise and lands right where lust begins. Deep in a man's instinct to pursue. The art of the micro-tease operates on a level that's far more psychological and sensory than it is physical or explicit. It's not about obvious flirting or saying something provocative. It's about those tiny, often unconscious cues that speak louder than words. These gestures are subtle, momentary, and effortless, and yet they create a ripple effect in a man's mind, pulling his attention in and sparking a kind of curiosity that quickly turns into desire. Most of the time, the woman doing it isn't even fully aware of the effect she's having, and that's exactly what makes it so powerful. A micro-tease can be as simple as a glance. Not a stare, not a flirtatious, calculated look, but a quick eye contact that lingers for just a second too long. It's that hesitation before looking away that sends a signal to a man's brain. There's something happening here, and because it's not loud or deliberate, he can't quite pin it down, which makes it even more intriguing. That tiny pause in eye contact can cause a spike in adrenaline, a quickened pulse. He's alert now, curious, and wondering if what he saw was real. or imagined. Then there's the casual physicality of it. When a woman brushes her fingers through her hair in a natural moment of distraction, or adjusts her necklace while talking, or runs a hand lightly down her own arm, these movements can create a visual trigger. They don't shout for attention, they invite it. It's not the movement itself that matters, but the energy behind it. It's relaxed. It's unbothered. It signals comfort in her own body, and that, to a man, reads as both confidence and sensuality. He's not just noticing her, he's beginning to feel her presence more intensely. Another form of micro-teasing is touch. Light, incidental touch during conversation, a brief hand on his arm when laughing at a joke, a gentle brush against him when leaning in, can send a shockwave through his nervous system. It doesn't need to be planned, in fact, it works best when it seems unintentional. These kinds of interactions create a physical memory, a moment his body remembers even after the moment has passed. He may not even be fully aware of what just happened, but he's left feeling warmer toward her, more alert, more interested. And then there's the tone of voice. A playful inflection, a subtle pause in the middle of a sentence, a sudden softness in a response. These variations can create moments of tension, and tension is essential in attraction. Micro-teasing isn't about saying something seductive, it's about creating an energy that feels alive, that carries possibility, that makes a man feel like something is building, even if he can't explain what. Micro-teasing is powerful because it's so human, so instinctive, and so unforced. It draws a man in by making him feel like he's part of something unscripted, something that can't be predicted or controlled. It awakens the part of him that responds not just to what he sees, but to what he feels. And that's where desire really begins. Emotional mystery is one of the most potent, least talked about triggers of desire in men. It doesn't rely on looks, status, or even charisma in the usual sense. It's something more elusive, more felt than seen. When a woman carries emotional depth, but doesn't reveal all of it right away, it invites a man into a mental and emotional chase. He senses there's more beneath the surface, not in a manipulative way, but in a way that mirrors how intimacy actually develops. Layer by layer, moment by moment. Most people in a rush to connect tend to overshare. They put all their emotions on the table in the first few conversations, hoping it creates closeness. But what often happens instead is the opposite. The mystery is lost, and with it the magnetic pull of discovery. A woman who reveals enough to be real and relatable, but holds back just enough to maintain her emotional sovereignty, becomes deeply intriguing. She doesn't let a man into every corner of her inner world immediately. Instead, she gives him something to earn. This isn't about being distant or emotionally unavailable. It's about presence without full exposure. She can laugh, be open, and even be vulnerable, but she doesn't narrate every past heartbreak or share every hope and fear in the first hour of knowing someone. There's restraint in how she opens up, not coldness, but discernment. This subtle control of emotional pacing triggers a man's curiosity in a profound way. He starts to wonder what she's thinking, what she's feeling, what's behind that look or silence. That wondering becomes obsession, and that obsession fuels desire. Men are drawn to contrast. When a woman is emotionally warm but also slightly unreadable, it stirs something ancient in him. He can't figure her out, and that becomes the very thing he wants most. Her mystery doesn't lie in being aloof or withholding, it lies in being layered. Just when he thinks he understands her, she says something that shifts the entire perception. That unpredictability makes her feel alive, dynamic, and worth pursuing. He can't put her in a box, and what he can't label, he can't ignore. What makes this even more powerful is that emotional mystery often comes with stillness. A woman who isn't desperate to explain herself, justify her feelings, or be understood immediately radiates a kind of emotional power. She listens more than she speaks. She chooses her words carefully. She doesn't rush to fill silences. That presence, the quiet confidence of someone who knows her value, is disarming. It's rare and it's unforgettable. In a world where many conversations are shallow or oversaturated with oversharing, a woman who gives only what she chooses in her own time becomes someone a man wants to return to again and again. Not because she's hiding something, but because what she offers comes with intention. Her emotional depth isn't worn on her sleeve, it's discovered over time. And for a man wired to chase what feels meaningful and unique, that kind of mystery is irresistible. There's something undeniably attractive about a woman who is completely at home in herself. It's not about looking perfect, saying all the right things, or even trying to impress anyone. It's the way she moves through the world with a certain ease, as if she belongs wherever she goes. Not because she's entitled to attention, but because she doesn't need it. Her energy speaks before she says a word. There's no anxiety in how she holds herself. She doesn't shrink, and she doesn't overextend. She just is, and that kind of grounded presence draws people in, especially men. When a woman is deeply connected to herself, it shows in her body language. She stands tall, not to dominate, but because she doesn't second-guess her space. Her gestures are relaxed. Her walk has rhythm. Her movements aren't rushed or hesitant. They have flow. She might tilt her head when she listens, smile when something truly amuses her, or sit in a way that signals calm rather than performance. There's no fidgeting to fix her appearance, no constant adjusting to gain approval. Her focus is inward, not outward. And that quiet self-assurance becomes a signal of emotional and physical confidence that men notice instantly. What makes this even more powerful is how subtle it is. It's not loud or showy. It doesn't need to be. A woman like this could be in a crowded room and still draw attention without saying a word. It's not because she's wearing something flashy or commanding the conversation. It's because her presence is felt. She's not performing femininity, she's embodying it. Her vibe is clear. She's comfortable in her own skin. And when a woman feels good in her body, men feel that energy. It's primal. It's sensual. It triggers something deeper than visual attraction. It creates a kind of unspoken intimacy that feels real and immediate. This sense of self-possession also shows up in her voice. She doesn't rush her words or speak to fill silences. There's a sense that she trusts herself, she trusts her timing. Whether she's talking or simply listening, she's not trying to prove her worth, she already knows it. And that certainty, even when subtle, stands out. In a world full of noise, someone who doesn't chase attention becomes someone others naturally gravitate toward, especially men, who often respond more strongly to energy than to words. Men are drawn to presence, and presence comes from being grounded, not distracted, not anxious, not overly concerned with managing perception. When a woman is fully in the moment, enjoying herself and expressing without calculation, it creates a kind of magnetic pull. She might be laughing freely at something silly, immersed in a story she's telling, or simply observing the room with interest. In that freedom, that non-performative self-ownership sends a message without her even knowing she's sending it. It says, I don't need anything from you, but you're welcome to meet me here. And that, for a man, is a rare invitation he finds hard to resist. There's a unique kind of power in unexpected femininity, one that often goes unnoticed but deeply stirs a man's attraction. It's not about wearing something flashy or acting overly seductive. Instead, it's the small, gentle gestures, a soft tone, a warm smile, a playful tease, that reveal a woman's feminine energy in a way that feels natural and unforced. When these moments come unexpectedly, they catch a man off guard, sparking a primal response that's rooted in both comfort and desire. This kind of femininity is subtle but incredibly effective because it contrasts with everyday toughness or seriousness. Imagine a woman who's confident and strong, but then suddenly lets her voice soften when she laughs, or playfully nudges him during a conversation. These moments of softness aren't about weakness, they show a willingness to be vulnerable in a safe space. It's an invitation to connect on a level beyond words, something deeper and more instinctual. Men respond to this because it balances strength with warmth, creating an emotional tension that feels alive and magnetic. Unexpected femininity often shows up in the way a woman uses her body language too. A gentle touch on the arm, a light lean toward him when she's engaged, or the way she tilts her head slightly while listening. All these small movements convey interest and openness without needing to be loud or obvious. It's a language of subtle signals that communicates comfort and attraction at the same time. These nonverbal cues make a man feel noticed and appreciated, sparking a desire to get closer and learn more. What makes this especially powerful is the element of surprise. When a woman consistently shows strength and independence, but then lets her guard down just enough to reveal these tender, playful moments, it breaks the predictability of the interaction. Men love that unpredictability because it keeps their attention and stokes curiosity. It's the emotional equivalent of a sudden shift in music. The beat changes, and suddenly everything feels more exciting and new. These shifts remind a man that there's depth and softness beneath the surface, which draws him in on an emotional and physical level. Voice plays a huge role in this dynamic as well. A warm, softer tone can be incredibly disarming, especially if it contrasts with a woman's usual steady or firm way of speaking. When she lowers her voice just slightly, or lets her laughter carry a hint of playfulness, it creates an intimate atmosphere, even in casual conversation. That softness signals safety and affection, which taps into a man's natural desire to protect and cherish. So, it's not about manipulation, it's about expressing genuine warmth in a way that resonates deeply. Ultimately, unexpected femininity is about balance. It's the dance between strength and softness, confidence and vulnerability, seriousness and playfulness. When a woman allows this duality to come through naturally, it triggers a man's lust not just for her body but for the full, rich experience of being around her. It's a magnetism born from authenticity and emotional depth, something no costume or act can replicate. Selective availability is one of the most powerful, yet often overlooked dynamics that trigger a man's desire. It's not about playing games or pretending to be uninterested. Rather, it's about a woman having clear boundaries and a life that fulfills her outside of any relationship. When a man senses that a woman is not always available, physically, emotionally, or mentally, it sends a very strong message that she values herself and her time. This shifts the dynamic completely because desire thrives in the space where something is earned, not handed out freely. When a woman is selectively available, she's showing that she's not desperate for attention or validation. She has other priorities, interests, and a full life. She's not rearranging her schedule at the drop of a hat, and she's not always instantly reachable. This doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means that she has standards about how she wants to be treated and respects herself enough to say no when something doesn't serve her. Men pick up on this quickly. They feel challenged, not in a frustrating way, but in a way that activates their natural desire to pursue, to invest effort, and to prove themselves worthy. This selective presence creates a kind of scarcity which naturally increases value. When something is easy to get, it's often taken for granted. But when a woman makes it clear, subtly or directly, that her time and attention are precious, it makes a man more mindful of how he approaches her. He becomes more intentional because he knows he can't simply expect her to be there whenever he wants. This dynamic triggers a man's instincts to protect and provide, to show up fully rather than casually. It flips the relationship script from one of availability to one of earned connection. Selective availability also communicates confidence. It shows a woman who is whole and independent, someone who isn't waiting around for someone else to complete her. This independence is incredibly attractive because it removes pressure from the man and the relationship. Instead of feeling like he has to fix, fill, or chase someone who's constantly needing more, he sees a woman who has her own identity and boundaries. That stability creates a safe space for desire to grow organically without desperation or imbalance. This principle also means that when a woman does give her time, attention, or affection, it feels meaningful. It's not given lightly or out of obligation. Each interaction carries weight, and that sense of value makes a man appreciate her more deeply. He's more likely to be attentive, respectful, and invested because he knows her presence is a gift, not a given. In essence, selective availability is about respect. Respect for oneself and for the relationship. It's about knowing what you deserve and communicating that through your actions, not just your words. When a woman embodies this, she activates a man's desire on a primal level. He's drawn not just to her, but to the challenge of earning and maintaining her attention. That pursuit, that effort, is where lust and long-term attraction both find their fuel. To wrap it all up, what truly ignites a man's desire isn't just what's visible on the surface. It's the hidden layers beneath. It's the quiet confidence that doesn't need to shout, the subtle cues that tease and invite, the emotional depth that keeps him intrigued, and the way a woman fully owns her presence without apology. It's in those unexpected moments of softness and playfulness, and most importantly, in the boundaries she sets by being selectively available. These are the things that awaken something primal and genuine inside a man. A desire not just for a connection, but for something meaningful and magnetic. When a woman lives from this authentic place, she doesn't just attract lust. She creates an irresistible energy that draws a man in deeply and powerfully.